MLS Cup Playoffs Round 1 was insane. I'm not sure if I like the format, but I love the teams that have gotten through, including NYCFC going all the way to Charlotte and beating Charlotte FC. Let's talk about that game because this was a big one.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people predicted it, especially after with Zaha missing the first game. But NYCFC going to Charlotte. Initially, we thought the game was going to be at 4, and it was corrected to 7 p.m. and that made a big difference, I think. But I thought the crowd was pretty hot for Charlotte, so that was cool to see. But man, Nico Fernandez Mercado,
wow.
Turning out to be one of the best signings, I think, in Major League Soccer. I think
hero.
Even for us, we're NYCFC fans, and we didn't know much about him. He came from Elche in La Liga, Argentinian, and just another sort of midfielder, winger. We didn't know exactly what his...
There's a lot of these like hyphenated guys on New York City FC. They could play winger, they could play centrally, they could play forward.
Yeah, and he was... the NYCFC's first goal, a great run, but seriously, I mean, it was from this is the one from the throw-in. It was, and I don't know why is this the long throw now taking. I mean, who does it? Was it is it Sunderland? Who is it that does it?
The Lap was the first one.
I'm just saying, but now, like currently, there's like a team that's doing it a lot.
Everybody. And now, Liverpool brought in a set piece coach, and now everybody. I've been saying it for years.
Why is everybody? So Charlotte is doing. I understand the long throw, like in Yankee Stadium, because it's a smaller pitch and it makes sense. But I don't know. It's just odd that it's so much a part of team's identity all of a sudden. Like it's just like it happened over the last like 3-4 weeks.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so long throw. And then Nico Fernandez, ends up getting the ball back, and then Tim Ream goes to close out. Doesn't
dusted.
Doesn't. I mean, I think the ball goes under his legs.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. At that point, like you got to foul, right? You have to make sure that the player does not get behind you, and he gets burned. And then this is when I really couldn't believe that Nico Fernandez did not pass the ball to Alonso Martinez. Alonso Martinez is wide open.
Completely open.
And we've seen time and time again when he's 1v1 against keepers, he usually wins that battle. The fact that Nico Fernandez...
Or hits the post.
The fact that Nico did not pass that ball, at the moment, I was like, bro, this is like the worst decision you've ever made.
This guy scores a lot. What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, as far as having someone you believe in. I mean, the results speak for themselves. The stats speak for themselves. But as far as having a forward that you believe in, Alonso Martinez is clearly up there as one of the best strikers in Major League Soccer. And he did not pass the ball. And then Nico's running with the ball. And I'm like, bro, the time to pass was like 8 seconds ago. Why have you not passed the ball? And then I don't even know. He has the defender on him. The defender goes to the ground. He's still dribbling with the ball. He's like fainting, like he's about to shoot, and then gets a right. He's left-footed, and a beautiful right-footed strike to the far post at a really difficult angle, and that's how they get started. And I think it took a deflated Charlotte quite a bit because I think they had a decent start to the game, and NYCFC getting that first goal, I think, got their confidence to a place that the Charlotte was never ever gonna kind of like come back from.
For me, I think it was a little bit sour grapes of losing at Yankee Stadium in penalties.
Yeah.
And King Colino, whatever, trying to
he was anti. I was in the supporter section. I was in the supporter section. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, they were throwing bottles towards the end.
Yeah, which
I don't know if they came from the supporter section. They came from that area.
Not cool. You don't want to see that.
But that goes to show like he was antagonizing, and they took that personal.
It's weird because I mean, we've been to so many games at Yankee Stadium and sat in that supporter section, and it's pretty rare to have opposing players antagonize the supporters. It just doesn't really happen that often.
Feels dumb, especially when there's another game happening.
Especially it's I mean, for NYCFC, they don't lose at home that often.
Especially not at penalties because Matt Freese is so good. But the point I was trying to make is there was that. Also, it seems like Pascal Janssen made it a point to say, yo, if Zaha's playing, let's frustrate him as much as possible because he's going to talk. We need to talk more.
Mhm.
And you saw that. You saw that with the center backs and Tavon Gray. What a job.
Another incredible
What
job.
a job this dude did on Wilfred Zaha, which the pressure on Tavon, knowing here's a guy who was a superstar in the Premier League, not that far in his past. It's pretty recent.
Yeah.
And for him to put him in his pocket, somebody commented, I think it was Chop Cheese, put bro on house arrest. Like, yo, he locked him down for 2 matches in a row.
Yeah.
Absolutely made it so that you basically were playing minus a player, especially when that player is your massive outlet. I think Dean Smith, I'm sure, is probably a little bit frustrated the way it all went down, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of people to blame, and he's got a lot. But when he looks at it, I think he's going to see they try to use Zaha as that sort of pressure release, as that sort of outlet. Be like, all right, we'll pass it to him. He does something magical. The rest of us get in place. When you take that away, you absolutely pull a Jenga piece from the bottom.
He did
for Charlotte FC.
He did. I was like, obviously, I'm watching him very intently and expecting some sort of magic, and it just really never came. The one thing I saw, obviously. A lot of love and support to Andres Perea. He did get injured, and it looked like it was a
he said they had surgery. New York City FC posted that he had surgery on a fracture,
lower leg fracture. So it looked. I mean, it was horrible. And
pretty horrific.
I hate that they, they show it in slow-mo and all that. It's just like,
do we need the zoom-ins? You know?
we don't need it. But I hope, obviously for a quick recovery.
So New York City now move on. They're going to go play Philadelphia in Philly.
Without Andres Perea and without Aiden McNeil.
Yeah, which is a big loss.
O'Neal, sorry.
Aiden O'Neal, the Australian, which is obviously a couple of big losses. We'll have time to preview that match when we get to it. FC Cincinnati and Columbus Crew, the hell is real derby. 3 games in a row. I said it would be wild if FC Cincinnati retired Darlington Nagbe at home, and boom, they did it.
So FC Cincinnati were just better. I think across the series. I mean, the second game, I think it's one of those things of like you're in a good position because you got the home game. I think whoever would have had the home field advantage.
But we wouldn't have said that in the past. Columbus kind of had this thing about them in the playoffs where they were almost like Wilfred Nancy's system was like impossible to beat.
Yeah,
and I think you're seeing the effects of MLS Cup roster rules, cap rules, not being able to keep teams like that together, mixed with Cincinnati just getting better. Cincinnati bringing in Evander was
maybe
huge.
I wouldn't. To me, but I think both these teams handle the MLS roster rules pretty well, and Columbus Crew did sign Daniel Gazdag from the Philadelphia Union with the assumption that would improve their roster significantly, and it kind of didn't. It just he was. I mean, it's not. It didn't make them worse, but Columbus had a lot of like a string of poor results. Closing out the season, and I think that momentum is what they brought, that same momentum, and it just wasn't enough. FC Cincinnati are just in fantastic form, and then bringing back
Pat Noonan did a wonderful job
bringing back Brenner, who his first go around in Cincinnati just looked like a complete failure.
He looked like he didn't want to be there at all.
Exactly, and then he leaves in like pretty poor fashion, and it all seemed pretty negative, and now he's like rejuvenated, and he gets the huge goal, and it just seems like he is very welcomed into the team. So I don't know exactly what happened that caused him to leave, or what the drama was, but
seems like it's water under the bridge.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah. I mean, to have Kevin Denke, Evander, a good defense, Nick Haglund, who I believe won comeback player of the year after having the broken rib in Atlanta. And even joking around about it on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, that was I think it was impressive, kind of predictable. But speaking of Columbus Crew, Darlington Nagbe, obviously that was his last game of his career, and that is a player, and he also did our show a couple last year, or was it last year? No, not last year.
When they won
MLS Cup. That was in 23, I believe. Yeah. And good dude, man. I mean, and everybody speaks of him so highly. You see, how the fans, the Columbus Crew supporters that were in Cincinnati showed all the love to him, to his family. And I saw Matt Doyle. Maybe we can add this later in post. Matt Doyle posted a graphic of like a football pitch that said, the defensive side, like it had descriptions of like what Darlington Nagbe does on each positions of the pitch, like, and it would be like, defensive side, like, normal player. And then the midfield in the attacking half, he's like possibly the greatest midfielder to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And then when it's in the final third, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing with the ball. Why am I here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and Jonathan Abbey is weirdly one of those like frustrating players where just like, is Busquets in the middle of the field, and then going forward, it was just like he has a couple bangers, a couple great goals, but he's not really.
That's not where he's
trying to get assists or
Yeah.
that key pass that really isn't his game. But he's good at one particular thing that's incredibly important
incredibly
to
good
a team.
At it. Yeah.
But not really didn't focus on too much outside of it.
And I think that's the tale. I think we're gonna look back at a player like this and be like shocked at how kind of lax he was and calm and placid he seemed in interviews. Even in Sakovic's interviewing him towards the end, Jillian, and he's like, yeah, man, I hope people remember he's a good player. It's like, bro,
damn, but
you kind of robotic at the end of the day. Like you too calm.
He was here. He was in the studio, and he's definitely stoic, but not. There's not an ounce of like coldness from him at all.
Not cold, but remember Love and Hip Hop? You ever watch that?
Sure.
Remember whenever Jim Jones was on and like his girl would be yelling at him, he's like, yo, Mom, I'm really sorry you feel that way.
He's just not affected.
And she's screaming, going nuts, and he's like, yo, it's a real shame.
But
that's kind of the vibe I get from Darlington.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, things are going crazy. You're like, I can't tell from the inflection in your voice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So,
but I think that's the kind of player he was. He was stoic in the midfield, calm in the midfield, and everything else he was like, it's not really my bag, dog.
Yeah, he did very clear. I think he really wanted to make sure he could spend more time with his family. He talked about that in his...
How cool is this, guys? Can I spend some time with your family? They must be the coolest. You said no to the national team. You don't care that you're retiring.
Yeah.
It's wild.
He does his job. He's gotten paid every team he's been on, especially he was a DP when he went to Atlanta United.
They said the PJ.
And he did his thing. So shout out to
Legendary.
Cincinnati. Absolute legend. All right. A couple other games, other game threes. We have to talk about Minnesota United against the Seattle Sounders. And what you
got this one, right?
Yes, I did. This is one of the I'm not going to necessarily say one of the greatest games I've ever seen, but one of the most dramatic games. And obviously, when it comes to this best of three format, I saw a couple of people were commenting on Blue Sky. I believe Sounders fans. They were just like that. The Sounders scored more goals against the Minnesota United than vice versa, and they end up losing. So they end up. It's really
That's not the way.
They won 2 games in penalties. And
should you do all 3 by aggregate? Is what you're saying?
I see. That's the thing. It's just like this is the format we have, and at the very least, even if you're neutral, it's like I enjoyed the games. I saw all 3. They were all entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big story here is the red card for Rosales.
Mm-hmm.
He headbutts Jesus Ferreira.
He drives his head forward, and as soon as you do that, you're done.
It's such a light.
But you know the rules.
I know the rules, but it's
you
so
can't do that,
man.
It's like if you touch someone's face, you're automatically. It's like don't do it. If you put your head forward, that's a dangerous move.
He gets fouled by Jesus Ferreira. He's trying to cut in between 2 players. He gets fouled by Ferreira.
Still very dumb.
And Ferreira says something to him. He gets up. He gets in his face, and it's just. He's not lunging. He is putting his forehead.
You can't move your head forward.
It's just
when did this become a thing in soccer? Putting forward, you look like Rams starting a fight. It's so stupid.
Push. Bring back pushing.
Yeah,
a nice shove to the chest.
Yeah, or you know what you do? Grab someone's elbow and lift up. It throws off their balance, dude.
Okay, Alexis doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu
apparently. I'm Steven Seagal. I don't know if you know that. We look the same at this point.
So, dumb. But the fact that Minnesota United got the lead, they scored 2 goals after the red card is unbelievable. The Sounders are a team that are, a strong system. Like Schmetzer has them playing so well with a lot of confidence. And Minnesota United, I just did not believe that they were able, given their style of play. I did not think that they were going to be able to do this, and let alone get the lead. I thought they would tie it and go off for penalties.
No, credit goes to Eric Ramsey, who we haven't really talked about this much, but again, he came from the Manchester United system.
Yeah.
And, didn't show up for the first few months, right? Like there was an issue with the contract or the timing of the hire. And people thought maybe this is a bad hire. Great first season, didn't look great. And now, I mean, he's got this team playing at another level. Also, you have Dane St. Clair. Not that hard,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that helps.
That helps a lot. I feel bad for the other keeper who came in for Stephen Fry.
Thomas.
Keller.
Andrew Thomas, I believe.
Keller, right? Isn't it Keller?
Keller is the...
Thomas.
Yeah. You're thinking of Casey Keller?
No,
who
I was thinking
used to play for
Thomas
the Sounders?
Keller, who I don't know who that is.
Like 15 years ago?
So Thomas, who, stood on his head for a little bit, broke his hand or
broke his
a
finger. It looked like he dislocated his pinky on
and
the first
he
save.
stayed in for the Pens, and then they go so long that the keepers get to go up. Dane St. Clair up there looking like a proper midfielder.
Without doubt.
I mean,
he got his form. He knows how to take a proper pen.
And then my boy Thomas was like, I'm going to show you. I don't need the fancy stats. I'm going to just hit it as hard as I can, almost as if it's a goal kick. And it clangs off the crossbar.
Yeah.
And that's the end. And the camera cuts to him looking very despondent.
Yeah, he says, I'm sorry.
Saying, I'm sorry.
I forgot to. I think
I'm sorry.
maybe Christian Roldan. But you know what? There's a little bit of karma there because he was talking a little smack to the Minnesota, to the Wonderwall. He was doing after he stopped the shot. He was like, "Oh, I can't hear you."
Yeah. Can I give you a hot take?
Go for it.
If there's one group of people you can talk smack to, it's Minnesotans. They're too nice. You know what I mean?
It's too nice. Okay, I got it. But no, his miss I don't think was as egregious as Obed Vargas's penalty miss.
That was quite possibly one of the worst penalties I've ever seen.
And it's because it was so slow. He taps it, a soft shot, and I think Dane St. Clair kind of fainting like he's about to go in that direction is what threw Obed Vargas off. But Seattle had two opportunities to win the game and they did not. So credit to Dane St. Clair and credit to Minnesota United. I thought it was a fantastic series as much as they won 2 times in penalties. But still, very entertaining games to say the least. Okay, last one. San Diego against Portland Timbers. Not too much to say here outside.
I wish the Portland Timbers would have shown up. That would have been nice.
They, San Diego just was like, hey, okay, we're done playing around.
You know who I feel worse for? Why looking at this? I don't feel worse for Portland because I remember my pick was that Portland would find a way through, or at least would try.
No.
San Diego would win.
You said San Diego.
But I wanted the certain sect of Timbers Army. You know what I feel worse for? I feel worse for the San Jose Earthquakes. And let me explain.
Okay.
There's a player on this team who scored 2 goals in this game. His name is Pellegrino.
Yes.
This guy was brought in by San Jose, and this was an example of like, oh, look at San Jose trying to do the XG thing, small ball, finding players. I think it was at Bodo Glimt at the time. Oh, finding players no one's ever heard of. We need to go out and spend. San Jose is going through this whole thing where they're not spending any money and the team is cheap, blah, blah, blah. He leaves San Jose, go to San Diego. Kid just scored 2 goals in an elimination. He looks incredible.
The second one, I think, was a bang.
Yeah,
right?
dude. I mean, it goes to show like, maybe the issues at San Jose were a bit more structural than it was the players they brought in because this guy looks so good in this game.
Sure. This is maybe a bit of an example of like why relegation might be a good idea because it's not even about teams playing
just
poorly.
Allow you to restructure. Give
There's something that's so fundamentally like sort of rotting from like the bottom up where they need to figure out.
You mean the top down?
Top down, whatever. Who cares?
I don't care which way you flip it, baby.
They're 69ing. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Be kind to each other.
This was a San Diego buzzsaw, and I think it puts a lot of confidence going forward that they can become, win the Western Conference and go to MLS.
It's early, but who are your favorites from both conferences right now?
Favorites from if I honestly think if NYCFC does not, Perea doesn't get injured, I think there's a possibility. I mean, I'll be a homer about it. I think they could get to another MLS Cup final without Perea. I think it's gonna be really hard. I don't know how they're gonna get past Philly, but so realistically, objective, quote unquote MLS journalist, I'm gonna say Inter Miami on in the East, and they have because they won their series already. I still I'm gonna say Vancouver on the.
For me,
West.
I'm gonna go Inter Miami and LAFC. I think it's gonna be Sun versus Messi.
Okay.
In the MLS Cup final.
Messi.
It's gonna be interesting
versus His son.
Damn.
Okay.
What's his name? Catuzzi? What's the kid's name?
What is it?
Canuto? Something.
No,
Sounds like something you order in an Italian red sauce joint.
It's Matteo. There's 3. What are the names? Matteo.
I don't know. Why are we still talking about this?
Anyway, so these MLS Cup playoffs have been fantastic, but they're actually not the only playoffs that are happening right now. The NWSL playoffs have been also great, adding to the American soccer lore of the weekend. So if you want to watch our video about the NWSL playoffs, you can do that right here.